Wednesday the 11th, 14s, Ginny, Evan, Sandra, and Isaac, are talking about the notorious serial killer, the Blissfield Butcher, who has apparently been committing crimes since the 70s and has gone uncaught. Isaac and Sandra go inside to get a bottle of wine while Ginny and Evan make out. Inside Ginny's house is a mystical dagger called La Dola. Soon, Isaac is left alone and is found by the butcher, who jams a wine bottle down his throat and smashes it so the glass pierces through his throat. He then catches Sandra and bashes her head with a toilet seat. The butcher then finds the other two and impales Evan's head with a broken tennis racket before impaling Ginny on a rod in the living room. Her parents come home to discover her body, and we see the dagger missing. What's the first thing you do if you swapped bodies with someone of the opposite gender? Thursday the 12th, teenage Millie Keesler wakes up for school. She lives with her mother Coral and older sister Charlene, who is a cop. It has been a year since Millie and Charlene's father died, and the relationship between the three of them has been strained.
We're going to see Wicked at the Annis Theater.
Annis. Wow.
What?
Millie goes to high school where she hangs with her best friends Josh and Nyla.
I love your black wiener, Mr. Daniels.
The two are excited about the upcoming homecoming dance, but Millie says she is going to spend time with her mom. Although she has self-esteem issues, her friends assure her that she is a piece. Millie is antagonized by popular girl Ryler and her woodshop teacher Mr. Bernardi, who orders her to do a presentation he assigned her earlier than she was told, but she isn't ready for it, so Bernardi just humiliates her in front of the class and her crush Booker. The whole class is then alerted to the news of the murders of the 4 teenagers earlier. Later that night, Millie is acting as the mascot for the school's football team, the Beavers, and she has someone throw soda at her. After the game, she waits for her mom to come pick her up, but when she calls, Coral is passed out drunk on the couch. Charlene calls Millie and offers to pick her up. As Millie waits, the lights around her go out. She is found by the butcher and is chased onto the football field, where he takes out La Dola and raises it high. The ground beneath them briefly takes some kind of ancient form before the butcher stabs Millie in the shoulder with it. Charlene arrives and shoots in the air, scaring the butcher away. She takes her sister home, although Millie doesn't seem like herself. Friday the 13th, the butcher wakes up in Millie's body, moving around menacingly and bizarrely, and does the first thing that comes to everyone's mind. Meanwhile, Millie herself wakes up in the body of the butcher down by the old mill. She freaks out and tries to go look for help. Unfortunately, everyone knows what the butcher looks like due to a recent sketch being shown on the news, so anybody Millie comes across will panic and scream at the sight of her. Butcher goes to school as Millie after giving her a more alluring makeover that everyone takes notice of. When Ryler comes up to him, he goes away with her to the locker room in an awkward attempt to get her alone to kill her. Millie then shows up at the school, where she takes a shower. Butcher and Ryler become aware of her presence, and Butcher takes Ryler to hide. He puts her in a freezer and locks her in, causing her to freeze to death. Millie then finds Josh and Nyla, who run away.
Guys, you're black! I'm gay! We are so dead!
She corners them in the kitchen and, after they stop throwing things at her, she proves that she is Millie by doing the Beavers cheerleading team dance routine.
Hail, hail, Blissfield high, chomp, chomp, chomps, our battle cry. When our beavers come to fight, feel our glory and our might. Yeah?
Josh and Nyla ask her questions only Millie would know, and they realize that it is their friend. After Millie mentions the dagger, Josh and Nyla go to their Spanish teacher, who can read the message on the dagger and tells them that the switch becomes permanent after 24 hours, so they have roughly 9 hours to get Millie back in her body. The butcher finds Mr. Bernardi after he was being a jerk again. He puts on a protective coat and glasses before turning on the buzzsaw. Bernardi tries to fight Butcher until he jams a screwdriver in his neck, and then pushes his body through the saw to split him in half. Cops arrive at the school after they got word that the butcher was spotted, which has also led to the cancellation of the homecoming dance. Butcher comes out of the wood shop just as Millie, Josh, and Nyla spot him. However, Butcher alerts the cops to their presence and has them chase Millie and her friends. They hop in Josh's car and drive away, but Charlene is on duty and pursues them. They are able to buy themselves time and run into the mall where they manage to get away from detection. Josh and Nyla get Millie a rubber mask to disguise her. Butcher is with a couple of jocks at an arcade who complain about the dance being cancelled. As Millie, he suggests going to the old mill. One of the jocks, Brett, puts his hand on Butcher's butt, to which he tells him,
Your touch makes this pussy drier than sandpaper, you fucking monkey. I can't wait to kill you.
The butcher then gives Booker a seductive look and tries to lure him in the back room to get him killed, but Millie and her friends intervene and knock them both unconscious. The friends take Booker and the butcher to Josh's house. After some confusion, Millie convinces Booker by reciting a love poem that she left in his locker a few weeks earlier. They keep Butcher tied up with Josh keeping an eye on him, while Millie goes with Nyla and Booker to the police station to retrieve the dagger from the evidence locker. At the station, Nyla tells a suspicious Charlene that the butcher kidnapped her and Josh, and has followed her here. This gets Charlene to check the perimeter outside while Nyla starts looking for the dagger. Back at Josh's house, his mom comes home to find Millie tied up, and when she tries to remove the binds, Butcher cuts himself free and tries to chase after Josh and his mom before running to the station. Millie and Booker go into the station just as Charlene has gone back inside to suspect Nyla, all while Butcher steals Charlene's cruiser. Millie is able to overpower Charlene and lock her in a cell while they run to the old mill where the dance is taking place since they realize Butcher is going to try and kill as many people as possible there. At the old mill, the dance is in effect, and Brett tries to bring Butcher with him to a private place. He takes him to his buddies, but Butcher smashes a bottle over one guy's head and slashes another guy's throat before grabbing a chainsaw and tearing into Brett's groin with it. When the friends arrive, they see that they have roughly 13 minutes left before the switch becomes permanent. Booker sets an alarm on Millie's watch as they go look for the butcher. Another jock approaches Josh before the butcher jams a hook into the guy's eye. Millie comes and takes on the butcher, but the cops show up and gives the butcher an opening to escape. With help from her friends, they manage to subdue the butcher. As Millie prepares to stab him, her alarm beeps, indicating that it's too late and the curse is permanent. However, Josh notices that the bell hasn't rung yet, and Millie remembers when Booker gave her advice to set her clock 5 minutes late to prevent being late to classes. Millie realizes it is actually 11:55 p.m. and stabs the butcher. They switch bodies just as the police discover the butcher, now in his own body, and shoot him down, as he is being taken away in an ambulance. Paramedics try to keep him stable, but his heart rate appears to go down before flatlining completely. We see he has removed his fingertip pulse oximeter to fake his death. Millie goes back home to Coral and Charlene. When it gets quiet, Millie suddenly hears a noise. The butcher is still alive and begins to attack the three women. Charlene tries to shoot him, but he removed the bullets from her gun. After he incapacitates Coral and Charlene, Butcher taunts Millie for her weak body, until she points out a weakness in his own body by kicking him in the balls. This allows the women to overpower him before Millie grabs a broken table leg and impales him with it, finally killing him. As they stand over his body, Millie declares,
I am a fucking piece.
"Are you a fan of slasher and horror movie flicks? Would you like to see more? Let us know down